Let's start off with my guy because that's what I keep talking about. I keep talking about Embry Thomas, and I don't think anyone really needs a lot of assistance breaking down the other corners on this team. So let's just go with him. Had a couple of good plays. Let's go back to that play where he broke on the ball. So he had like press coverage. It was a really good route he was following, and he just read the body language of the receiver so well. And as soon as he saw the receiver post up, basically he turned his shoulders, he got his arms out. It was textbook, except he didn't pick it.
I thought it was gonna be a pick six.
It should have been a pick six. So it could have been an awesome play if he had his pick six. But it was a great defensive coverage play. That it was textbook, except for, of course, picking it off.
Yeah, that's
something that's, our secondary is not really good at picking the ball off. It's something that we need. And in the playoffs, a play like that is against, say, Matt Stafford, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady. That could be the difference in the game. So, he's a rookie and he's building. That's something that immediately needs to get better. But hey, great coverage. I was really impressed with that. He had a couple of other good plays as well. He had a couple of tackles for a loss as well, didn't he?
He did.
The line of scrimmage.
Good call. Yeah, he deserves credit for that. I was going to point out the one play that concerned me about Embry Thomas. It didn't count, but it was the long pass interference play that was negated because of a holding penalty before that
like 67 on the offense. Or something, yeah.
That concerned me. And I'm sure, the Rams saw it, and I'm sure they're going to take at least one shot deep to Embry Thomas in this game on Sunday. And doesn't mean he's going to commit a PI or get burned, but he's not out of the woods yet. It's still coming for him, especially if Mosley comes back.
Yeah, but there's no doubt that he should be the number 2 corner because Dante Johnson and Josh Norman just don't do it for anyone.
Yes.
It was comedic, the pass interference on Norman. And I think he was more of a victim of his reputation. It wasn't the worst, but he had to turn his shoulders the other way, and he might not have been called for that.
The fact that the Niners immediately benched him, though, after that play does say something. Like, all right, man, enough. Even Kyle.
It was an emotional decision. It might have even been a good coaching decision, but I thought it was kind of funny as well. It was like, I've had enough of you, kid. Go home.
Yeah. I stuck by you after you had that stupid taunting penalty, but this is the final straw. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Although, if you remember, Cliff Kingsbury, he actually took responsibility for that interaction. He did. And I think he was at fault, but I appreciate how he handled it after.
What do you say? Like, they were just having like good-natured jawing, and it wasn't heated, and he didn't understand.
I think Cliff actually went a step further, that Josh Norman was kind of in the right and was just jawing, and that he said something he should not have.
Interesting.
So Cliff was
That's leadership.
It was honorable. Nice. I mean, it's like, hey, I acted like a kid. It was my fault. I got him in trouble, but teacher, it was actually me.
True.
So
that'll buy him some points with players around the league. Anyway, we digress.
On to Dante Johnson.
No, I'm with you. Dante Johnson he helped in that game. He had a nice pass breakup on 4th down.
He did. And I just feel like his first play, we had the back-to-back pass interference calls, one for over 30 yards, one for over 20 yards. It's hard to come into the game as a 3rd or 4th rotational piece as a corner and get targeted immediately. That was good coaching by the Texans. The bad coaching by the Texans is why they did not challenge Embry Thomas and Josh Norman more.
Right. I'm with you on that.
And that's not something the Rams are going to fail to do.
That's the thing. If the Niners lose to the Rams, it's not necessarily going to be about the quarterback position. It could come down to the cornerback position. No one could cover Kupp and Beckham. Now, they played this team already. Kupp had a good game. Beckham didn't. But Beckham had been on the team for 2 days and didn't know the offense. Also, Stafford put the team in a hole right away. This game probably won't play out like that. I'm thinking most likely this game will be low scoring and close. So is K'Wan Williams going to give up the one big play? Is Josh Norman going to give up the one big penalty? I don't think they can win this game with Josh Norman on the field. So it would be great if they had Embry and Mosley. I think if they had Embry, Mosley, Ward, and Tart, and K'Wan, they'd have a solid secondary. Not a great one, but a solid secondary. Problem is, Mosley hasn't played in a while. Ward's not playing this week. He's on the COVID list. I don't know. It's a tough game.
Yeah, without Jimmy Ward back there, I think we could survive Tart being out. But Jimmy Ward, that's like the only.
Also, Hufunga's been out. Knee injury.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, where do we go? And
I mean, you're like this close to Tavon Wilson playing meaningful snaps in basically a playoff game. That's not good.
Yeah, not at all. And I was at the Rams game here in Baltimore, so I got to see OBJ up close. I got to see him affect the game. We got to see how good his hands are. But more importantly, Matt Stafford threw a pick six against Baltimore to Clark, like really, really fast. And then in the red zone, he had a strip sack by, I believe it was Tyus Bowser, stripped him, and Justin Houston recovered. My point with this is that Matt Stafford does throw a lot of pick sixes. That was his fourth of the year. I believe he leads the league. It's something that I think in his time in Detroit over a certain amount of years, he only threw like four. So to have four this year, there is something to bait him with there. And that's why Jimmy Ward managed to get a couple picks.
That's right.
Clark also got a couple of picks, and the strip sack came in the red zone against the Rams. They still won the game.
Well, Stafford wants to force the ball down the field. I've watched Stafford. He is a more aggressive version of Goff in the sense that they both need good pass protection. They both need time and space to throw, but Stafford will really force it down the field, whether or not he has it or whether or not he has it. And I think he'll be actually more risky with the football than Lance would be in this game. That's what I see. Lance is more, he takes, I mean, his deep throws are like when it's one-on-one, not a lot of traffic around the receiver.
One thing I will say about Goff is his pick sixes are, to me, are boneheaded plays. It's like, what were you thinking? What
Goff or Stafford?
Stafford.
Okay.
I mean, this it was a great play by Clark. So he was sitting on actually in another coverage route, and he turned around as he was covering his receiver and saw Stafford just zero in on his basically his check down player, and he just broke on the ball and picked it. But the thing is, he was running for a good 7 yards. And Stafford, literally, as he went to get into his throwing motion, Clark was already breaking on the ball. He never saw it. He never saw him coming in. That's the thing about Stafford. He tunnel visions sometimes, but you're right. He is more aggressive. He's got a great arm. He's got an aggressive, offensive-minded coach. But yeah, they're going to go right after Ambry Thomas, especially, and whoever is on the other side.
Eugene says, regarding your hesitancy to admit you're a fan, I'm not a fan. Remember, Bill Simmons made $100 million writing from the fans' perspective. Just say it, go Niners. Yeah, and everyone's been trying to like steal his format for the last 20 years. That's how Bill does it. I'm doing it my way. And you, first of all, I don't think you can be a fan and be like in my opinion, how I was raised, an old school journalist, but you definitely can't be a fan and be quality control. There, you got to be one or the other. And I chose quality control. And so far, it's working out well for the 49ers and me. And Sybilla.
True. Objectivity is key, but we know I'm very, very hard on the defensive side of the ball.
That's true. Gojira says Justin Reed was doing a great job last game for the Texans. It seemed like his main job was to spy on Lance and break up the passes over the middle. Yeah, it looked like he had a little bit more burst to the perimeter than Lance. And every time Lance tried to get out there, he felt I can't get him. And he like kept trying to do the hesitation and cut back to the end. I'd like to see Lance just like sprint to the edge for once.
Do you remember on that 4th and 2 or whatever red zone drive where I agree that Shanahan should have gone for it, and he had the first down with his legs, and he came to a dead stop and tried to force the ball into like a weird, like there were two coverage guys, he had 2 receivers down there, it was just a cluster down there, and he just threw the ball and was like, just pick up the first down. The first responsibility is the first down, not to get a touchdown.
I would also say to Kyle in that instance, roll him to the right, because what I've seen is when he boots to the right, he explodes out of that play.
He has his lead
Yeah,
on.
I mean he's really fast on the play action bootleg to the right. To the left, he's like turning his hips and trying to get in a throwing position, and he's just slow. Like get him. I mean, the touchdown pass was him rolling to the right. I'm just saying, Kyle. I think I'm not criticizing Kyle. Kyle's getting a feel for how to call games with Lance. Lance has played 3 games in the last 2 years. It's a little bit of a work in progress, but that's just some of my observations. I would think more to right.
It's very possible that this game plan was, I heard some questions like, is this what we're going to get from Lance? Or are they going to dial him up? Is he going to get more? I think it will be a blend of unleashing the playbook, but also sticking to what the Niners do. There's no reason to change the chemistry and the approach to the game. It will still be a run-first team. The only thing is I really don't like these runs up the middle with Lance. And Lance, he took some shots that stunned him in that game.
The problem is he seems like, we'll talk about Lance in a minute. He seems like he doesn't have the burst to get to the edge right now, but he's very shifty and big between the tackles. So you don't want him taking big hits, but I like the quarterback draw. If you can get And I mean, that can be wide open if you call it in the right situation. And also, I'd like to see him step up and scramble through the A gap, because I think he could be devastating just going downhill as opposed to trying to get out to the edge. But he likes getting out to the edge because he wants to throw.